Okay, welcome America, welcome Justin Bieber. We are recording live in Studio 202. Good morning America, good morning Taylor Swift. I did that yesterday in pre-cal too and they corrected me, so thank you for correcting me. We're going to be looking at drawing examples of angle relationships in geometry today. And so there's a lot of vocabulary we're about to go over. So without further ado, draw an example of each angle relationship, and we want them to be all different. So the first one is congruent angles. Now you may have drawn something different. You may have represented congruent angles differently than I'm about to, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, but here's my example of congruent angles. I'm just going to draw angles that look congruent, and then I'm going to put a little mark on them to show everyone that they're congruent. Sometimes you'll see one mark, sometimes you'll see two marks, and then if you have another one, you might see three marks, okay? You might have put that they're each 40 degrees, and that's fine too. Any questions about what congruent angles look like? So shapes are congruent and numbers are equal. So these angles are congruent. Complementary angles, two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So you might have drawn it like this, right angle, and then something like that. That's fine. Or you might have drawn one 40-degree angle and one 50-degree angle, because those are also complementary. Right? Complementary angles, complementary angles. Both examples show two angles that add up 90 degrees. Any questions on that? Okay, supplementary angles. Can I erase those? You guys finished drawing those? Okay, I'm just gonna scroll up. So I want to focus now on supplementary angles versus a linear pair. So a linear pair, I'm going to start with that one. A linear pair is very specific, okay? Two adjacent angles. Adjacent means right next to each other. They share a side and a vertex. Here's the vertex, here's the side they share. Right? A linear pair. Pair means two, and linear, two angles that form a straight line, a linear pair. And they have to be adjacent. So maybe I'll use 60 and 120. I like those numbers. There we go. That's a linear pair. Right next to each other. They share a side and a vertex. Those angles are also supplementary. So if I want to draw supplementary angles that are not a linear pair, I have to just separate them somehow. So maybe I would draw one like this, 120. And then one like this, 60. Those angles are supplementary, but they're not a linear pair. How are we doing? All vocab. Adjacent angles. So two angles that are right next to each other. They share a side and a vertex. Here's your vertex, and here's the side they share. And vertical angles are created by intersecting lines. So here's a pair of vertical angles. And then the other pair, now that I've shown that those angles, that's a pair, right? And they're congruent, which is why I put the mark there. These angles, this is another pair of vertical angles that have been created by these two intersecting lines, but they're a different measure, so I have to put more than one line there to show that those two are the same and then those two are the same. Vertical angles. Questions? Now you've got a video and you can go back to it and look at it whenever you want to review this information. Yes, Ryan. Wait, Ryan, yes.
Wouldn't adjacent angles also be complementary? Because they're like there's one in the middle too.
Yes, the example that I drew was adjacent for complementary. However, if I wanted to draw complementary angles that weren't adjacent, I could do that. So I'll use 30 and 60. So I could draw, rather than putting them together and making the 90-degree box, I could draw them like this. 30 degrees, and well, that's not 30 degrees, that looks more like 60. But pretend it's 30. Okay, and then this is 60. So those angles are complementary, but they're not adjacent.
Okay.
Good question. Other questions? Going once. Going twice. Sold. Thanks for coming out, Tay Tay. Peace out.